This is it. My friend John has been asking me, Joe, when are you going to do the Hillsborough County report? This is it. This is the day he's been waiting for. Hopefully you've been waiting for it too. Stick around. Hi, welcome back. My name's Joe Brown. I'm a realtor with Century 21, List with Vegans, located in South Tampa. Thank you so much for being here with me. So, if you've been with me, you know every month I do a market update for South Tampa. Well, every so often I do an update for all of Hillsborough County, and that's what I'm talking about today. And just because we're in August right now, I thought I would give a snapshot going back from January of 25 through July 31st of 25. Okay, so 7-month snapshot. And I have some very interesting charts. I think they're interesting to share with you. So here's the first chart, and this is active listings. And what do you see? Yeah, active listings. We've come down over the past couple months, but still pretty active. I think at the end of July, we finished at like 7,493, somewhere around there, right around 7,500 homes on the market, Hillsborough County. Let's change this and look at new homes, right? So these are families that decide over the past 7 months to put their homes on the market. And you can see this chart, and you can see the past several months, it's really been a steady, flat line for the past several months. But once a home goes on the market, how long does it sit there before it sells, right? So we look at days to sell. Well, here's the chart for days to sell, and what do you see, right? So we've decreased, right? So we had several months of decrease. Then we hit July. And July, I can't say shot up because July is at 35 days, which is still quick. That is still fast. So the question is, why was there an increase in days to sell in July? Maybe it was the holiday season, people taking vacations, right? So this is a number I want to certainly track to see, do the days expand, right? Now let's look at sales, and I have a lot of stats to share with you about sales. What's your thought, right? You hear talk about what's happening in sales in the market if you watch the news. Well, here's the chart, and what do you see? It's really been pretty steady, hasn't it? We've averaged each month between 1,600, 1,700 homes selling every month. Pretty steady. But here's some information I want to share with you. And this really grows out of when I do the South Tampa market update. That I always say, I'm just looking at pure numbers. I don't break things down. Well, here are the numbers I have. So listen, if you add the past several months, more than 5,000 homes, right? It's maybe close to 9,000 homes have sold over the past 7 months. Well, I've broken that down. So listen, when I do these numbers, I'm looking at all residential. So just not single family homes. We have mobile homes, we have villas, we have condos. So this is what I have broken down. So let me put this other chart up here just so you can see that over the past 7 months, 881 condos have sold, right? And then 1,191 townhouses have sold. You have 197 villas. You have 147 manufactured homes and 38 mobile homes. Let me just explain the difference, right? 1976 is a cut date. So the mobile homes built before 1976 are classified as mobile homes. After 1976, just because the change of protocol and building specs, that changed 1976. So after 1976, they're called manufactured homes. So you can see 147 manufactured homes. And then there's well over 5,000 homes, single family residents have sold in that time. So you can see we have spread. Certainly the vast majority are single family homes. And the majority of those are inside the county, right? Away from the flood areas. That's what we're seeing. South Tampa, we're still seeing sales, but they're away from the flood areas and certainly the inner part of the county. We're seeing an uptick in sales there. Here's some others. So let's go back to single family homes. And here's another chart. Out of the single family homes, 1,775 of them sold for cash, right? It was a cash deal. 1,960 were FHA, 827 were VA, and then 3,788 were conventional loans. So I thought I would just share that breakdown just to let you know we're still seeing a lot of cash offers. Now, again, these numbers are just for single family homes, not all the sales, just single family homes. Let me go back to my other chart. So we've looked at sales. Let's look at median sales price. What do you see? Yeah, from January, I think the average was 373,000. Now we're at 395,000. You know, we're toying with that 400,000 mark. And we've been there for probably the last year, right around that 400,000 mark. And I have an interesting graph to show with you at the end of this. Now, again, I want to go back when I talk about median sales price and I talk about median days to sell. Here's the math lesson, right? I used to be a math teacher, if you didn't know. So you have mean, median, and mode. Median is what's right in the center. So you have some things above the median, some things below the median, right? So that median is right in the middle. The mean, or the average, is where you take all the numbers and divide by the, add them all up and divide by the count. And the average, if you have a couple outliers, it can skew the results. So that's why I like to use median. It's just right in the middle. So the median sales price is $395,000. So yes, there's properties below that. And remember, we're talking condos, villas, townhomes, which tend to be less expensive than single family homes. Not all the time, but sometimes, right? So now we've looked at median sales price. How about the ratio, right? So we put a house on the market at X amount, but it sells for a dollar figure under that. What's that ratio? Well, here you go. Right, so we're really toying between that 95.8 and 96.4, right? So we're right in that 95, 96 range. Now, are we going to come down? from that? Maybe. Because South Tampa was 92 to 93%. So this is something we want to watch too, right? Months of inventory. So this is number of homes on the market. If nothing new is added, but the number of sales stays the same, how many homes on the market? And you can see we're at 4.5 months of inventory, and that's been pretty steady over the past several months. So here's a couple thoughts. So Freddie Mac, who's the big mortgage company, they every Thursday at noon, they release the average, right, the mortgage rates. They don't set the mortgage rates, right? The mortgage lenders do that. But Freddie Mac takes all the data and reports this is the average mortgage rate for the past week. Well, the numbers they reported yesterday were at 6.58. Now, last week they were 6.68. Well, a few months ago, March, I think, we were close to 7. So we've dropped mortgage rate almost 0.5%, which helps buyers, means they can either qualify for more of a house or it lowers their payment for the house they want. So this is a good time for buyers, right? It's also a good time for sellers because our anticipation, our hope is that buyers come back to the market, right? And we see an increase in sales. You see an increase in sales, you're going to see an acceleration of home price. Here's another chart I want to share with you. So I was just curious, right? That we have these active listings on the market. But what's the median list price, right? So if I tell you we have 5 homes on the market, well, what are they asking for those homes? So I thought this was an interesting chart I want to share with you. So the green bar you can see is active listings. The blue bar is the list price, you know, what they're asking for the home. Look at July. The median list price is $575,000. That is all types of residential all throughout Hillsborough County. So again, I thought that was interesting to see what that figure was. Anyway, listen, if you've been with me, you know I am a data geek. I tell people I'm a data geek. What does all this information mean? Well, it really, I share it with you just to give you a glimpse of the market. As we've seen, active listings has come down some. Months of inventory is holding steady at 4.5. Home prices, median sales prices gone up slightly, not a whole lot, but really holding steady. And I think it'll hold steady depending on what mortgage rates do. If mortgage rates continue to drop, I think we're going to see an uptick in median sales price, only because buyers can afford more of a house, lower their payments, or afford more of a house. This is still a seller's market, just not a very strong seller's market. So, and that we saw that with the days to sell. Days to sell has gone up. Is it going to stay up, right? Because did summer vacations play into that? These are trends we just have to see. However, know that people are still putting their home on the market. As we see, there's almost 7,500 homes on the market in Hillsborough County. There's still 1,600 to 1,700 homes a month selling. So I would still say it is an active market, okay? And here's my caution to buyers, right? If you see a home that you like and that you can afford, buy it. If mortgage rates come down drastically, you can refinance. But don't buy a home because you need to buy a home, right? Then you have buyer's remorse, and we don't want you to have that. We want you to have a home that's right for your family. So listen, if you have questions, go to my website, joebrownc21.com. Listen, there's a contact me button. Contact me, ask me questions. You can leave comments to this video if you have questions. Don't ask personal questions in the comments. I don't want the whole world to see your comments. But on my website, you can search for homes. I have some custom searches built, links to my blogs. I want to be your trusted advisor, so please reach out to me, see how I can help you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. And until next week, take care.